J. Trump is calling for a total and
majority
complete
of
shutdown.
what Indecline represents is an activist response and activist action against those social, ecological, economical injustices carried out by government, corporations, law enforcement. That's what Indecline wants to kind of put out their message, you know, to kind of spur that action and motivate the public to go and do something, whether it's, you know, go and protest or vote or whatever the case may be. Indecline is an activist collective. It was started here in the United States on the West Coast in 2001. It's comprised of 24 different core members ranging from artists, graffiti artists, writers, photographers, filmmakers, basically anybody that wants to be politically and socially active.
When you look at, say, the 2008 election cycle and you see Barack Obama and the Hope poster, you know, the Shepherd Ferry image, which became the symbol of that election, you move forward 8 years and the symbol for this election is something that's not necessarily hopeful, but something that is alarming.
I created the Trump statue. I normally do special effects and makeup art, making monsters and costumes for haunted houses and some TV shows. I've done a couple music videos, stuff like that. Growing up in Cleveland, you know, I didn't grow up in the best part of Cleveland, but as a little treat every weekend we would get to go to the video store, and of course I would always go straight for the horror section. I've never worked with Indecline on anything before. This is the first project that we've ever collaborated on.
When Indecline came up with this concept, we had to find a sculptor. We don't know what we're doing, so this was going to be one of those rare instances where we need to kind of work outside the collective. We asked around a little bit. One of the prerequisites was we really wanted to find someone who was familiar with the horror industry. Someone maybe that Rob Zombie would hire, because we wanted there to be a realistic element to the attributes, but we also wanted just this little touch of the intense and the insane in the statue. And we said, listen, like, you make monsters for a living, we have a monster for you to make.
I always put little subliminal messages in not only my sculptures, but inside of the paint jobs themselves. 2 of them are on display. One in LA, and then one in Seattle. If you get a chance to see them, you know, look pretty close. Look at the veins. See if you can spot any of the little clues. Nobody's caught them, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
I got a call about 8:20 in the morning from a friend of mine who had seen the statue go up on the corner. By 11 o'clock, there are 5 to 7 news crews. Lots of people starting to photograph it.
Art is one of the best expressions of society, and what we stand for can be easily expressed through our art.
By about noon, they were starting to pull down these figures. The one in New York had been completely destroyed. The one in Cleveland was taken down almost immediately. So as a matter of preservation, I felt like I should lay claim to it, but I didn't want to hide it.
The guys from Indecline said, hey, this is something that we want to make a statement with. Can you help us bring it to life? At the time, I was leaning towards voting for Trump. Now, again, with everything that I've seen, the way that he's acted.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
The multiple outbursts and, you know, horrible things that have come out of his mouth, I definitely veered away from that and no longer want to vote for him.
The way the statue was positioned was almost a metaphor for his vulnerability and his exposure. In addition to the play on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, there was a lot more depth to it in that respect. Putting him out in public with no clothes on was our way of saying, like, there's nothing to fear here. Like, this guy, just like in the fairy tale, you know, like, this is exactly what this guy is. Like, he is completely exposed. Like, we all know exactly what he represents, and I think finally people are starting to wake up to that.